Hey, it's Alpita, the mystical mama, and hold on, let me see if I can lay down. Yes, I'm in my bed in my towel. So today was supposed to be Fun Friday. I was supposed to spend the day hanging out with my boys and playing video games, but the universe, whatever you want to call it, my intuition, my higher self, God, goddess, doesn't matter. I'm not being disrespectful when I say whatever you call it. I'm saying that the name we attach to the energy of the world, the divine energy, the spark, is irrelevant for the most part, right? I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. So for a while now, I have known since 2021 that my optimal cycle of work, okay, and I use the word loosely work because, I'm creating content, I am homeschooling, I am taking care of the household, I have clients, I have, all sorts of things that I do. I don't have one set thing that I do during my day, and every day is a little different, although some of them have a similar pattern, like Monday has a certain rhythm and Tuesday has a certain rhythm. But anyway, in 2021, I really came to the realization that I really work best 4 days on and 3 days off. And I don't mean off as in like, well, I do mean off. I mean like bare minimum, like laundry if it has to be done, dishes, it's always my routine. I start my coffee and then I start unloading the dishwasher, and then me and the boys will unload the dishwasher and then reload it. And then, just taking care of the boys as needed, right? They need a snack, they need food, they need something. Okay. But I've been resisting that because, we get conditioned in this whole, like, even when you're a stay-at-home mom, even when you're an entrepreneur, breaking out of the 9 to 5 is a challenge. Like, I even have some days where, like, I'm my energy is spent by 3 o'clock, and then I'm like, yeah, but dinner, I don't have to start dinner till like 4:30, 5 o'clock. I could do a couple more things, and decondition yourself from that. It can be challenging. And I've been a stay-at-home mom for I mean, I waitressed a little bit, a couple years, 3 years in there, but I've been a stay-at-home mom for 18 years, right? And I've been an entrepreneur for a lot longer than that. But this rhythm that we have kind of reminds me of Katy Perry, Chained to the Rhythm, right? Is kind of hard to break. Like, sometimes when I take a day off during the week, even though this is the whole reason I started my business, I feel guilty. It's like, I'm not doing anything on a Tuesday. Like, what the fuck is that? So the universe, God, goddess, my intuition I've been hearing it. 4-3, 4-3. You Elpida, stop. And I keep saying, hey, listen, when the finances are to a place that I feel like they should be, I'll do the 4-3. And now 2 weeks in a row, the universe has been like, yeah, I don't think so. You're not listening, so we're going to make you listen. So last week I had this, it was this dull roar of a headache that was so like distracting. Like, piercing pain sometimes is better than a dull roar. And I just literally spent most of the day in bed. The boys were on the Xbox. I got up and fed them and took care of meals and things like that. And just the bare minimum, right? And then Saturday and Sunday, kind of, we hung out and we played. And I think I did a little bit more than that, but not much beyond that, right? And then this week, I woke up this morning and I was just like, oh, I have, 3 calls to do and to be on. I think there were like 4. I don't know. I don't remember. I got on one of them, and only because it was a free breathwork call, and I was only on it for like half the call. But anyway, this morning, as we were out of dry food, and unfortunately, like, the kind of food that I get is not always easy to find, and Chewy's been out of it and stuff like that, I was giving, while one of my sons was giving the 2 cats that live out there food, I came in here to give my cat Charlie food. and wet food, because we had wet food. We always have wet food. I like, every time I go to Aldi, I like stock up on that stuff. I'm like, 6 cans every time I go. And even though like I know there's a stockpile, there was actually a point in time last year that like you couldn't find it, and I literally bought 2 cases. That's 48 cans a case. Although we ran out of that. We eventually went through it, because what happens is when we run out of dry food, because somebody doesn't tell me, or it's hard to get it, we just switch them over to the wet, because they get the wet as a treat every night anyway. So anyway, regardless, so long story short, I have an old yoga mat that I keep in front, outside my bedroom door, in front of it, because my cat Charlie and my son's cat Mischief do not get along. 2 females don't get along. So the past 3 days I've been kind of tripping over it, and usually I just like walk over it, not a big deal, but lately I don't know what it is. And then today I'm coming out of the bedroom, I had just given her a bowl full, and then I had another bowl. I'm trying to think here because it's kind of fuzzy. Oh, I had a bowl that I had 2 scoops in it. One for Charlie, and then the other one was going to the other cat because I didn't want to waste a bowl. And so as I came out of the bedroom, my slippers caught on this old yoga mat. And, you know, as I'm trying to kind of like catch my feet, and my hands are full, I got the bowl in one hand, I got a spoon in the other. I went down, and I went down hard. I mean, I don't know if you can see it, but you can't see it, but there's bruising already happening. Oh, there it is. You can see that one. And I went down, like freaking face down. My face didn't hit the floor. My arms caught me, but like in a chalk outline. And I was just like, are you serious? Sore. The back of my neck is sore. Like, I think I got a little whiplash from going like that. My hip is sore. My back is sore. Like, I don't know. So I was just like, okay, I surrender. So I spent most of the day in bed, getting up to feed the boys and take care of their needs. Gave them the day off from school. I said, listen, I'm just going to sit here. You guys are going to do your reading homework, or your reading. It's not homework, but, and then you guys are free for the rest of the day. And I had been meaning to revise our schedule so that they would have Fridays off. And I was just like, okay, guess we're going to do it. So the moral of the story, if you've stayed with me this long, is that if you do not listen to your intuition, if you do not listen to the universe, God, Goddess, they will make you listen. If they tell you to rest, you need to rest. Okay, so I kind of have no choice but to, like, even doing laundry, because today was sheets day. I was just like, I had my husband change a load, which isn't a big deal. I mean, he does that every once in a while when I ask. Like, really had to do the bare minimum, had to ask for help. And any of you that know me personally know that I'm the person with the 8 million grocery bags climbing up the stairs with keys, and like, I'm not one to ask for help. Not because I don't think that I need it or deserve it, but it's just like, you know, I was raised by a very self-sufficient woman, and raised to be self-reliant, self-sufficient. And not to say that that's a bad thing. When we don't ask for help, when we don't rest, we don't honor our body, when we don't honor our intuition, the universe says, I'm gonna make you. Okay? It's funny because I've had other instances like this. Okay? And it usually is body stuff. Like in 1999, I was waitressing. This was about a year after my mom passed away. And I really wanted to quit that job. I wanted to quit. I didn't want to work there anymore, but, you know, they were fellow Greeks, and I just didn't know how to count that conversation. And, you know, at the time I was how old was I? Like 22, 23 years old, 23. And I just didn't want to do it anymore. And like, the universe kept, you know, pushing me. My intuition kept pushing me. And, you know, I could have taken some time off, and finally the universe was like, okay, you're not going to take time off? We're going to give you the time off. So what happened was one Friday afternoon, the place had shut down the week before Thanksgiving for some deep cleaning and remodeling. And so the waitresses were like, let's get together. Let's have Alpita do our coffee and do our tarot. And I was like, okay. And I remember all day long, I was just like, I don't want to go. And it wasn't, I didn't want to go. Like, I didn't want to hang out with them or do that. It was just like, there was this deep within me, like, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. And finally it was like 8:03. I remember looking at the clock and I'm like, crap, I gotta go. And I grabbed my stuff and I head out. And in the apartment complex that I was living in, the apartments, to get from apartment to apartment, like, it was outside. There was like a balcony and you went downstairs and it was all outside. It was concrete. And the stairs were like really weird. I don't understand why they were like this. It's like the dumbest design. They were concrete, but they had a metal lip, and the metal lip was painted. And so, you know, of course, from where people walking up and down them all day long, the paint had chipped. And so I literally slipped on that metal lip and fell. And now I caught myself, but not after I freaking trashed my ankle. And I mean trashed. It's what's called a trimalleolar fracture. It means like I broke all 3 bones in my ankle. And I had to have a plate and 8 screws. And of course I couldn't go back to waitressing. Well, I chose not to go back to waitressing. I mean, I was out of work for like, I don't know, 4 months. I had to go right into surgery from the ER. And even the doctor's like, you don't do anything half-assed, do you? He's like, that is really freaking bad break. And even to the point where they were talking about taking it out. And I talked to my chiropractor because he knew a lot of stuff, and he looked at my x-rays. He's like, you got thin ankle bones. He's like, I wouldn't take that stuff out because, you know, you're talking recovery time and you're talking weakness, and it's like, just leave it in. So I do have a plate and 8 screws in my ankle. There's a plate on the outside with 6 screws and then 2 screws on the inside. And no, I'm not bionic. I wish it was. That would be really freaking cool. But, and then I had another time where, again, like, this time when I was pregnant with Alex, literally 7, almost 8 years now, I was waitressing. I don't know what it is with the waitressing. And there's been other instances, but I wanted to stop because I was tired and it was exhausting. And I worked 5 p.m. to 5 a.m. and it was a lot. And, you know, Joey was, you know, 18 months or whatever at the time. And it was a lot. And I woke up one day with like the worst Charlie horse, and I just was in so much pain. I had such bad sciatica, actually, till a couple months ago when I actually had a hypnotherapy session, and now the sciatic pain is gone. And I had to, you know, switch from Saturday nights to Sundays, which was half the shift, half the hours, half the money that I made. And then eventually I stopped working because I just couldn't do it anymore. I was like so exhausted. So again, the point of the story is that we need to make time for our health. I talked to you yesterday about mental health. Now I'm talking about physical health, like literally rest. I mean, today I sat here and I was on my Kindle reading book after book. You know, for me, I love to read. I was one of those kids, like I said, you know, in yesterday's video, that, like, you know, I would read till all hours of the night. I'd be like exhausted going to school, and, you know, I love reading. So for me, it's not a big deal. And actually I'm going to pop on a movie because my Kindle is literally at 2%. It's plugged in right now. It's like, no more. And I need a break anyway, because my eyes are starting to get fuzzy. But we need to honor our body needs. This is where it starts. Honoring your body, listening to your body. Every ache, every pain, every tinge, every creak is telling you something. It's saying that something, you're not doing something that it likes. Okay. And again, I'm a Gen Xer, and, you know, my mom was born in 1941. So it's like, there's always this, like, I'll rest. You know, a lot of people will say they'll rest when they're dead. And that's bullshit, because we didn't come here to work ourselves to death. We came here to, I believe, to experience, you know, joy and pleasure. And it doesn't mean that it all it's all that. It's not all unicorns and rainbows, but when we honor our bodies, when we honor our needs, and I mean like all your needs, like the need to play, the need to, you know, have salty foods, the need for chocolate, like everything in moderation. I mean, you know yourself, you know what you need and what you don't need. And when you deny yourself those things, the universe is gonna freaking, you know, give you a freaking backhand, like literally bitch slap. So when we say I'll do it when, no, do it now. Do it now, because, you know, I'm not going to give you that whole crap about life is short. But life is meant to be enjoyed. Life is meant to be more than bills and chores and responsibilities. And doesn't mean that we're irresponsible. It doesn't mean that we don't take care of our obligations and our responsibilities, but it means that we can't live our lives just doing that. We need to have fun. I know for me, like last weekend, you know, this week I got more accomplished in 4 days than I have in a while, because I allowed myself to have those 3 days off. Well, I didn't allow myself. I had to, because I had a freaking headache. And then this weekend apparently, you know, is the same thing. So apparently Fridays are off for me. You know, sometimes that schedule doesn't always work. I'm going to try and, you know, do as little as possible on Fridays. Of course, there's children to feed and I have to eat and, you know, basic things. But, you know, again, some of these things like loading and unloading the dishwasher takes like less than 10 minutes. It's a huge thing for me, right? Even laundry, like, I mean, today, you know, I was debating. I was like, oh, should I do the sheets? Should I not? And I was just like, let's just do it. Get it done. Like, I'd rather do it now before, like, the soreness really sets in. Because come Sunday, you know, come tomorrow and Sunday, it's just going to be worse. But we need to honor our body. We need to honor our intuition. I mean, you know, the only time that my intuition has never steered me wrong. It's when I've ignored it, is when, you know, things have not gone well, right? So I am going to put on a movie and I'm going to relax, and I hope you do the same. I mean, you know, if going out on a Friday night is what is relaxing for you, that's great. I used to do that. If staying in your jammies and watching Netflix is what, you know, gives you joy and pleasure and is relaxing for you, do that. You know, sometimes it's a hobby. Like sometimes I knit, and I don't find that as work. It's kind of mindless for me because I don't do anything complicated. I just knit around and round in a circle. I love making hats. Just go round and round in a circle. I don't really have to think about it. And so you know, we need to do things that feed our soul and rest our body. All right, and honor your intuition. All right, good night.